Yo, Big D ready, going solo, reviewing, recapping the 2025 NCAA men's tournament and bracket reveal tonight. We got the selection show. So who's going where? What teams made the tournament? Who's bubble burst? What upsets are gonna happen? I'll give you a little preview tonight. And I'm here on the Big Beat Podcast. Speaking, you can always see my episodes, Spotify and Apple. Also, check us out, Spunky Spectrum Sports on YouTube. Have more coming up tomorrow. In fact, I'll pick every single NCAA tournament game. But, March Madness is one of our favorite times of the year. We love upsets. And frankly, March Madness is crazy. I mean, figuring out like who's going to be the one to be the 16 to beat a one, the 12 to beat a five, the 15 over two, the 13 over four. And lately, there haven't been a lot of great teams. There've been good teams, but frankly, the gap in college basketball is shrinking. I mean, yeah, will 15 ever win the actual championship? No. Will 14 reach the Final Four? Probably not. But that doesn't mean craziness will not happen. But a couple takeaways I have about the tournament. We all talk about bubble teams, and to me, the biggest controversy about the bubble this year is North Carolina. I'm not sure how North Carolina can be in the tournament. I mean, they were 1-12 in quad one games, bad loss against Stanford, and yeah, I know UNC played a difficult non-conference schedule, beat UCLA on a neutral court, but that's it. And I mean, frankly, UNC had a chance, and yet the Tar Heels are sent to Dayton. And honestly, I think UNC was sent to Dayton partly for publicity, partly for ratings, and partly because Dayton, Dayton wanted a team there. Well, they got a team in North Carolina. Secondly, Big Ten bubble teams didn't fare well with Indiana, Ohio State, also throwing Boise, West Virginia, San Diego State, Vandy, Xavier, Texas, maybe even Oklahoma, Arkansas. But you um, to be honest, this is just me. I think there are too many teams in the NCAA tournament. I wish the tournament were just 64 teams instead of 68 because these first four games actually take away a little bit from the tournament. It's like having dessert before the meal. We get a little dessert before the big entree on Thursday and Friday, and with everybody playing. Secondly, what if a team plays Tuesday night and then flies halfway across the country, plays in Denver? I think it takes a while. I think it's a huge disadvantage of that first 14 plays and then travels across the country. Eventually, that team will run out of steam. Um, Another big story was how many SEC teams would make the tournament, and the SEC set a record with 14 of its 16 teams. Sorry, South Carolina and LSU, but 14 out of 16 SEC teams made the tournament, which broke the Big East record of 11 a decade. And frankly, I agree with having 14 SEC teams. I had Texas, OU, Arkansas. I think all those teams deserve two number one SEC teams, couple number twos with Tennessee and Alabama. And the SEC, I don't remember a conference ever being this strong. So let's get down to the bracket. Start with the Atlanta region. So Auburn, the one seed, obviously number one team in the country, umpteen quad run wins, but struggled to come in, lose what 3 out of 4. Player of the year candidate jumper. But did Auburn did Auburn maybe took its foot off the throttle after clinching the SEC? We'll see. Michigan State, surprise, Tom Izzo, another NCAA tournament, Mr. Consistency. Maybe not always the high end town, but Michigan State's always there in March. March. Iowa State got some injuries, little inconsistent, but if Iowa State could get healthy, I don't know if Iowa State's a Final 14 now, but definitely maybe a second weekend. A&M, I'm not sure there's a better dress coach in the country than Buzz Williams. The guy Mick Cronin at UCLA could give him a run for his money, but Buzz is definitely in that run. Michigan just won the Big Ten tournament in Indianapolis. Probably a little unlucky to get a 5 seed, but but a really good job by Dusty May in year one. 6 seed Ole Miss. That would be Chris Beard. Yeah, Chris Beard coaching. And I wanted Texas, which it was still in Austin, 7 Marquette. I mean, good year for the Big East. Getting what 5 teams in the tournament. So Marquette, people. I think two of the most underseeded teams in the tournament will Louisville and Creighton. Now they're playing each other in the first round. Surround New Mexico, 10 seed San Diego State, UNC first 4 game in Dayton. UC San Diego, maybe a popular 12 seed. Yale pull off an upset over last year. Could it happen again? And then with Lipscomb from the Sun, Brian, and then another first 4 game. But frankly, I think it's a region you look at the 8-9 game, particularly with Louisville and Creighton and Lexington. If Louisville beats Creighton, could end up like Duke did playing a road game in what was it, Greenville, I think it was. Could Auburn be playing a road game in Lexington? And while Auburn's deservedly number one seed, playing gets the Atlanta region, that second round game could be a little feisty. And then you look at the East region in Newark, Duke, number one seed, no argument there. Who knows what happens with Cooper Flag's ankle, but to be honest, I think Duke's more capable of making Final Four. And if that would have been a tournament game, I think Cooper Flag probably plays last night. Still, Duke beat really, really good Louisville team, Bama. Native squad puts up a ton of points. Question will be Grant Nelson hurt his leg yesterday against Florida. Who knows if he'll be able to play Wisconsin. I think Ray Gold this year is my coach of the year. I mean, nobody had Wisconsin as a 3 seed. And unlike Bo Ryan's Wisconsin team, this Wisconsin team puts up a lot of points. So you imagine if Wisconsin plays a BYU in the second round. That game could be a track meet, but I worry about Wisconsin playing 4 games in 4 days. And now, quick turnaround play Thursday in Denver at altitude. Might not hurt them against Montana, but it could hurt them against BYU. Arizona, honestly, I don't know what to think of Arizona. And it might come down to Caleb Love. I mean, if Caleb Love puts up 2, Arizona's done. If he puts up 42, someone could be a second weekend team. Oregon, Dane Altman's one of my favorite coaches to watch. Oregon always plays hard, versatile, can play multiple defenses, man, zone. Not the biggest backcourt, but well coached team. BYU, uh, doesn't matter. That's a veteran leading squad put up a ton of points. You get BYU and Wisconsin or BYU and Alabama, first team in 100. It's funny, yesterday I mentioned at the ballpark to one of my friends, said Alabama, Florida's first team to 94, and Florida ended up putting up 104. So St. Mary's, I don't know what it is, but St. Mary's always gets ducked in the rankings. I love St. Mary's. Not a real um possession team. Not going to try and outscore you, but really solid defensively. Obviously, really well coached. I mean, of course, with St. Mary's and Gonzaga, great rivalry out west. And Mississippi State, Baylor. Again, Mississippi State just ordinarily Mississippi State might not be an 8 seed, but it again shows the SC depth and Baylor. Of course, I think there were questions a few weeks ago whether Scott Drew's team would make the tournament. Got a 9. Certainly, Vandy could have been on the bubble of Dayton, but again shows SC depth. VCU survived the A10 tournament. I mean, that'll be a yeah. And then Liberty again, really again, Liberty plays a lot like what the Virginia squad did under Coach Bennett. Richard McKay does a great job tackling, trying to slow down Richard. Liberty's one of the most efficient teams in college basketball. Not a very fast-paced team, but efficient teams. And Akron got some scoring, some shooting. Montana altitude. Robert Morris in another first 4 game. But here, I think if Duke's healthy, you know, Duke playing the first couple games in Raleigh sure helps. And then who knows about Grant Nelson's injury? I mean, if Duke and Alabama met healthy, it might be a race to 103. In Indy, Houston, yeah, Kelvin Sampson, Houston to 1 seed again. Doesn't matter what conference, AAC, Big 12, Houston just wins and wins. And I mean, Houston might not have the name pedigree, they just win. It, that Houston's a team that matches, if not exceeds, its talent. Same with Tennessee. I mean, see, Tennessee will just dog you. Got a great backcourt with Ziegler. Ziegler, of course, we saw what happened today when Florida beat Tennessee in that SEC championship game. Ziegler put 20, Gainey, Chaz Lanier. I mean, that is a veteran leading backcourt. One of the best coaches in America, Rick Barnes. Kentucky, obviously new coach with Mark Pope there. Got a few injuries. Not the best defense team, but Kentucky can sure score the run. Purdue obviously made the final and they made the national championship game last year. Probably the best point guard in American Brain Smith. The question is, has Purdue reached its ceiling? Because who knows if Purdue can go up another level? Was Purdue just like a maybe Sweet 16 Elite 18 Clemson? That's a team full of men, a team that will play hard. I mean, it's not it's not a sexy team. It might not be an analytical team. That's a delicate team. Illinois, To be honest, with you, I don't know what to think of the Illini. I think Illinois is a team that can go a number of ways. It wouldn't surprise me if they lost to Xavier or Texas. But I think Illinois is a team that could beat anybody in the country. I'm not kidding. UCLA, I mean, Mick Cronin wins. We know UCLA can play well defensively. I don't know if UCLA can score enough. Utah State's not exact. Utah State's probably the team I would not want to play in the first round. 8-9 game, Gonzaga and Georgia. Gonzaga's probably been a little unlucky this year. 8 seed, probably more than fair. Georgia, great story this year. This year in the SEC, Utah State, and Xavier. In fact, who knows what happens? But there's a chance Sean Miller's coaching Texas after this tournament. And McNeese with Will Wade. I mean, coach at LSU. He's going back to play Clemson, so that that game could get a little feisty. High Point, Troy, Wofford, SIU, Edwardsville. High Point, Purdue. I mean, could High Point be the team to upset Purdue? Seemingly, if Purdue gets by the first round, they're good. The question with Purdue is, can they get by the first round in the Indy region? And then San Francisco, oddly enough, San Francisco's former coach could be Todd Fulton, could be leading the Gators back there. Probably the toughest region. I mean, Florida, St. John's, Rick Pitino. How about that? How about that pod with St. John's, Rick Pitino, Arkansas, John Calipari, and Bill Self in Kansas? Three Hall of Fame coaches. And and only one of them can survive because the 2 and the 15 play each other, 7 and 10 play each other, so only one of them can survive. And in Tech, again, really well coached team that can play hard. I think a decent draw for them. And defensively, I don't think Texas Tech will be scared to play anybody. Maryland, um, who knows how Maryland will be on a long plane flight to Seattle, but being Memphis is a very fascinating team. Team loved the job Penny Hardaway's done. Won some games in non-conference. Won the American tonight. But Tyrese Hunter's injury is huge. If Tyrese Hunter can't go, then I'm not sure what to think of Memphis. Missouri's a team a lot like Florida, Alabama, capable of scoring 90, 100 points. But can Missouri hold up defensively? Kansas, Bill Self is not his best Kansas team, but Hunter Dickinson or what Dickinson, I mean, I was what the UConn defending national champs. I knew somebody would face UConn on the 8-9 line, and it would be Oklahoma. Great story in the SEC. I don't know what to think of UConn. I always think of UConn like a Man City this year. UConn's capable of making a run in the tournament, and then it's like, well, wait a minute, they can't even make a run in the Big East tournament. And in Arkansas, who knows what happens with John Calipari's. But Arkansas's got a couple of injuries back. Boogie Flam looks like he may be able to come back, which helps Arkansas. But be fascinating to see what happens there. Drake is the opposite of Missouri. Missouri tries to speed up games. Drake tries to slow down games. So that's a contrast in style. Colorado State, you know, pop depending on Hunter's injury, 12-5. Grand Canyon, Maryland and Seattle, and then UNCW, Omaha, and Norfolk State. So, 14 SEC teams, maybe one or two surprise on the bubble. They'll always surprise every year. Injuries. I'll go more in depth and pick every single game tomorrow, but you know, I think we know there'll be upsets. We know that four number one seeds I don't like won't make San Antonio. But who will? Well, guess what? You're gonna have to wait and tune in tomorrow night before I pick every single one of the NCAA tournament basketball games. So, this is the Big D signing off on the Big D podcast, which you can see Spotify and Apple and the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page.